Okay, this is set up for making the yo-yo. I'm cutting out the sides. Most important thing is to bolt a piece of wood. I've got some 3/4 inch plywood here down to the tabletop of your drill press so that you don't mess it up. It's got a back that's been glued and stapled. The glue's actually holding it down. 2 pieces of 3/8, one above the other, and that's what keeps the sawdust from holding it out. The hole saw is a Lennox. It's got nice side pieces in here to pry out your pieces of wood to get caught up. And I've got the stop set, so if I go all the way down, it goes slightly below the surface of the wood, and it's left a little cutout, and this helps me get the wood to the right place so the sawdust can come out. I'll show you what I mean. I'll take this piece of wood, and the right location for it is so it almost covers up that hole. And that's going to allow the inside to be a full circle, but it allows plenty of space for the sawdust on the outside to escape, and then I'll show you what I mean. I think you can see right there, that's where the cutout made by the saw is. Turn it on. Feel it drop through. Pull it up. When you slide it off like this, it'll take most of the sawdust off. And then we'll go to pry it out. 2 little short pieces of dowel on each side. And if you just rock it gently, sawdust will fall out each side, and this will drop down all by itself. Don't have anybody reach underneath. You can push it out with these little sticks. And this is pretty good. It's ready to have the edges rounded over with the router. This little router cutter in here has got a 3/8 inch radius and 2 blades on each side, and a little roller here to keep it from burning the wood as it turns at high speed against it. This would be kind of dangerous to use like this. So for students' use, I have this cutout piece that I clamp on that will just allow it with a little bit of slack to fit in there, and plus it allows our vacuum, which is in the back, to get a little bit better suction. Turn it on. For the next operation, we'll use a step drill. It has straight flutes on it so it doesn't grab the material, and this is what you want to use, you know, especially with kids using it, because you don't want this ripped out of their hand, and that'll happen if you use a twist drill. Now the step drill, this is the step we're going to use. It's the 3/8 one, and it's going to go halfway through it. So you just have them hold on kind of tight, not real tight. Turn it on. And tell them if it grabs it, just to let go and turn it off, okay? It'll center itself, and the 3/8 part will go in and just a little bit past that to make it smooth. And the stop up on top of the drill should be set so it didn't go past that point very much. You can't see until I do a close-up. I will do a close-up. It's going just a little bit down, help the pin start. And then you come over with the other one. If it starts spinning like this, just have them turn it off. And this side, gee, it won't come off. Push it straight down. It'll come off, believe me. Okay, turn it on, restart it, go down. Hits the stop, boom. Bring it back up, turn it off. Okay, where's the stop located? And my drill press has got a little ring, and it's got that little black knob on it that you turn in, and it keeps it from going down too far. It should be checked fairly often. If you find somebody come up and the hole goes all the way through and the pin drops, that's because somebody strong-armed this thing and just slammed it against the stop and it slipped. If you have a workbench like I do, I've got one side set up with 4 sheets of coarse sandpaper, the other side set up with 4 sheets of smooth sandpaper, and when I want the kids to sand something and you make one side really, really flat, this is a way to do it rather than hand hold it. Okay, the parts of this that have to be really smooth is on the side where the hole is big, because that's where the string's going to be rubbing. You want to make sure this is smooth and this rounded area around it is very smooth. Okay? If it's not, the string's going to snag and it'll cause them some problems. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm face down and just sand this on the smooth side. Okay? And do the other one same way. Now at this point, I'm raising it up a little bit with the smooth. Just try to roll this edge over. It doesn't take too much. Just a big hole again. Smooth it, roll this edge over. Now once they've done that, and they got the face pretty smooth, you can let them take handheld sandpaper and sand the rest of it to get the bumps off. Okay, to trim sandpaper into small pieces the kids can use, I use this little cheap cutting device here by Westcott, and this has already been cut in fairly small pieces, but you string across like that, and if you cut through the back of the paper, blade lasts a long time, and you know you're not out a lot of money when the blade does finally dull up on you, so it won't cut anymore. And it's even got a secondary blade up here. Okay, at this point you give them a little piece of sandpaper and they can do the edges and round them pretty nice. You know, to have a good time with it. But make sure they get the flat smooth first. Okay, the next step is cutting the pin. Made these up out of hardwood. They're just little guides. What they do is take a 3/8 inch dowel, place it in the hole, hold it up flush, and then they just hold on to the other end while they're holding their finger over flush and push it into the blade till it cuts through, and they're all finished. And I'll go ahead and do that, see if my fat finger's out of the way. Turn this on, hold my finger there, cut it, pull it back, turn it off, push it through, and we got ourselves a dowel that's cut to just the right size. Okay, this should be a fairly snug fit. If you just twist it a little bit, it's got a starter hole, and turn it over and push it down. It'll slide up against the stop, and then I'll show you how we're going to cut the string. String, for most of you, from your fingertips right to your chin, you got one arm outstretched, and then maybe a little bit more like this. And you take it over on the soldering iron, which will seal the end of it because we're using nylon. This is how you secure the string. Just hold it like this so it's across the hole, sticking out on the other side. If you want to line the grain up, you can do that. But just put it so the dowel pushes the string into the hole, and you can start it a little bit. And what I usually do, since I have a shop here, is take it over to my handy dandy vise, and I just turn it until it's about maybe double the thickness of the string, and pull it out. And the last thing I do is tie a loop in it. Now everybody seems to have problems with this, but take about, it's not as long as my finger even, where you double it up, and then you're going to turn it around and make a loop, and you're going to take the end of that and you're going to push it down through the hole and pull it up on the other side, and that will make a loop for your finger that won't tighten up on it. Now if you want to, you could probably hot melt a little bit of that off, but that's going to be pretty good. And even on my fat finger, I made it a little bit tight for my fat finger, but I'll show you just a second. Okay. This is going to represent your string. This is a big long one. I'm going to double up the string like this. Okay. I'm going to take the end of it and I'm going to pull it over so it's formed a loop. It's on top. Okay, the end of it, I'm going to go underneath, then up through that loop. I'm underneath and up through the loop. I'm going to pull it tight. Kind of hard to do with this tubing here, but I'll work on it there. I'm going to pull it tight and you'll end up with a nice knot that won't slip on your finger and cut off the circulation. Most of my students like the decorating tube. You know, you got something fancy going on here or on the other side.